Well, welcome back to the shop, everyone. Today is part 2 of a video series that I'm doing on 6 things that I've found that over the years, if I have these 6 things in my shop, I love being in my shop, it's safe, and it just seems to function extremely well. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll link it up here or down in the notes section below, where I walk you through all 6 things briefly, talk about the lighting, which was the very first thing, and now second to the workbench, and that's what we're talking about today. First, I'm going to show you some of the basic materials that I've used to put this thing together. Then I'm going to give you 3 features that I really enjoy about this table. Let's take a look. So first things first, let's talk about the top. The top is 3 inches thick. It's made up of, you can see, 4 sheets of MDF. I cut the table to size of where I wanted it, used a ton of glue between each sheets and made a sandwich. And as long as this thing is drying up on a flat surface, it stays flat. That's what's great about the MDF. It stays flat and it's gonna stay flat. The only problem is it's heavy. It's crazy heavy, and the edges are a little bit fragile, so a good heavy round over on the edges, and I treated the whole thing with oil. It's a great option for a tabletop right now, relatively inexpensive compared to, say, solid maple or other things like that. Now the base is made up of basically 2x4s. The legs are 2 2x4s put together, and the frame is 2x4s. And with that, it creates a nice little space underneath where I can have some storage. And then on the outside here, I just wrapped the whole thing in some Home Depot barn wood that they had on the shelf. Looks pretty good. I mean, it's good enough for me right now. So that's the top. Of course, there are some more expensive routes to go, but this is the cheapest route that I found to get a nice tabletop that stays flat, and it's very, very, very sturdy. Next up, let's talk about my vise. So this is a vise that I have had for quite some time now. It's a company called Schoberg. It might be the highest end vise that you could buy, but you definitely don't have to buy a vise at this caliber. But this thing is absolutely amazing. I mean, just take a look at this thing. It's beautiful for number one, and if you check out underneath, look at how it's made. It is just beautiful looking, and you can see how it has square bars instead of round bars here, and that really helps with racking, because when I stick wood in this and you clamp down, the tendency for the round bar clamp styles will be to rack like in this direction. So this one doesn't do that. It's an incredible vise. You don't have to start out here, but if you can, I suggest it. Let's talk about bench dogs. If you look at the top now, you can see that I have a series of 1-inch holes drilled along this edge. I also have a hole drilled in the wooden vise itself, and in these holes I have bench dogs, metal bench dogs, and they slide down in there, and I can adjust now wherever I want this bench dog to be. And what they do is they're great for clamping wood down, material down, in such a way that I can have access to the whole top surface of the material without having a clamp on one end. So sanding the whole thing, planing operations, this is really a great feature when you have a wood vise and some bench dogs. Let's look at the last thing, and that's on the back. Because my table doubles as an assembly table, that means I'm doing glue ups on top of the table. And so I don't want to get the glue and all the stuff that I'm doing on the table and end up hurting the table. So what I've done is I've installed a roll of paper, and I'm able then to pull this up over the top to protect the top. Works really, really, really well. Well, there you have it. That's my workbench. You know, there are many other options. You don't have to go with anything like this. You could honestly go as simple as 2 sawhorses and a piece of plywood. So never feel that you have to do or have anything that I have in my shop. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm having fun filming this stuff. I look forward to seeing you guys in part 3 of this video series.